Good morning, world. It's Susie Q96, also known as Susie Smart. Yep, it's Susie Smart this morning. I'm not feeling real smart, but I gotta keep myself moving. I got a lot of things gotta happen in a real short period of time. So, gotta make myself get up every morning and do stuff. Doesn't matter how bad it hurts. And some of y'all will understand that later. Uh, uh, so anyway, this morning I've been up since 4:30 because I couldn't sleep. My sinuses decided they wanted to do some weird stuff, so here I are. Uh, so says somebody's here. I just don't know who. I'm not going to start reading this article until I have some people. But it was kind of a neat article for me to find because it's from 1965 and it's about counterfeiters in a little town called Cave in Rock, Illinois. Now, that probably means next to nothing to most people. But when I was a kid, every year we would go from Florida to Iowa because my dad had promised my mother that he would take her back to see her family every year. We didn't have a lot of money to do touristy sort of things. And so one of the things that we did do was when we crossed the Ohio River, we would cross by taking the little ferry boat at Cave in Rock, Illinois. And once you got to the other side of the ferry boat, there was a little restaurant there, and we would usually stop there and eat, which we didn't do much restaurant eating either. Mostly it was roadside table and a loaf of bread with some bologna and some mayonnaise. But we would usually stop at the little restaurant at Cave in Rock, Illinois, and have breakfast. So I've been to Cave in Rock many, many times, and particularly in that time period of 1965. So it was kind of interesting for me to run across this article. And I thought it might be fun to share it. Good morning, King of Coins. You'll have to excuse my sinuses. I don't know what is going on. Just nose won't stop running. So it's going to be an interesting read this morning. I guess I'm up a little early for my regular crowd, but I got things to do today. I got things to do every day. But it's kind of a long article. I could be better. I got some medical news yesterday that wasn't too thrilling. No, it is actually 6:38 where I am living, which is in Virginia. Hopefully not too much longer. I am desperately trying to get out of Virginia and over to Michigan, where I can get some proper medical treatment at the university. But right now it's 6:38, and I don't know why I'm even up. I woke up, I couldn't go back to sleep, so I rolled up a bunch of pennies and made some coffee. Uh, yeah, there's not a whole lot of time frames open where you can stream where you're not going over one of your friends, and I have just had to um, not feel guilty about that. I used to feel very guilty about streaming over other people, but there's just sometimes there is nothing you can do. There's only so many hours in a day. And I figure they don't have to watch my live stream. Can always come back and watch it later. So that's lately I've been so sick I haven't been able to watch anybody's stream, and that breaks my heart because I know I'm missing a lot of good stuff. Uh, but at any rate, I found this article called from 1965 from Mount Vernon, Illinois, called Counterfeiters at Cave in Rock. And since I went through Cave in Rock every summer, I thought, man, I wish I'd have known about this then. So I'm going to delve into what was going on that I had no idea was happening. Of course, I was just a teenager then, so I probably didn't really care if the quarter I was putting in the jukebox was counterfeit or not. So this is going to be a slow read because I'm not feeling my best, but I thought it was a good article, so we're going to do it anyway. Counterfeiters at Cave in Rock by John W. Allen of Southern Illinois University. The Cave in Rock region once held a fascination for early counterfeiters. A generation after Duff's career had ended there, another vendor of spurious money named Sturdivant came to ply his trade and became another of the area's legendary figures. Sturdivant told little about himself and less about his methods. Some say he did not even counterfeit, that he bought his fake money from a producer and resold it wholesale fashion to men who placed it in circulation. Since Sturdivant is recorded as having been an expert artist, a skilled engraver, and capable mechanically, one can reasonably suspect that he had a hand in the actual counterfeiting. Sturdivant chose to live in a secluded manner. He was grave, quiet, inoffensive in his manner. He had an excellent farm, and his house was one of the best in the county. Sturdivant was said to derive his profits from supplying Confederates with counterfeit coins and counterfeit notes, for which they paid $16 legal money for each 100 in counterfeit. Purchasers were not supposed to pass the notes to the county where they lived. So far as records indicate, it was never definitely proven that Sturdivant produced the spurious money or that he passed it into circulation. Sturdivant is not known to have personally committed any acts of violence. With the passing of Sturdivant, counterfeiting in the cave-in rock country declined. The ruins of Sturdivant's fort or house stood in the edge of Roseclare as late as 1876. Some dies for making half dollars were reported to be found near this site. Take a little breather here. Okay. Another character associated with Cave-in Rock was Mike Fink, a legendary figure in flatboating. Mike, who began as a pole pusher on a keel boat when a 17-year-old youth, was one of the half alligator, half man type. He was an excellent rifle shot and a great a great rough and tumble fighter, no holds barred. Fink and his partner also often amused their friends by shooting cups of whiskey from each other's hands. One day they had a quarrel. After they apparently had made up, it was decided to demonstrate the renewal of their old friendship and trust by once more shooting cups from each other's hands. It was Mike's privilege, decided by lot, to shoot first. He did, and instead of hitting the cup of whiskey, my screen did a weird thing. So let me get back where I was, where Mike was shooting the cup of whiskey. All right. It was decided to demonstrate the renewal of their old friendship and trust by once more shooting cups from each other's head. It was Mike's privilege, decided by lot, to shoot first. He did, and instead of hitting the cup of whiskey, the bullet struck his partner squarely in the forehead. A short time later, Fink was killed by another man far up on the Mississippi River, where he had gone in charge of a trapping trading party. Fink was perhaps the most colorful figure in history of the keel boat on our western waters. He was a frequent visitor at Cave-in Rock. Another legendary figure, Shadrach Jackson, still remembered by some, was of the crusader and not the robber kind. He is often remembered to as Shady Jackson. At one time, Jackson, sometimes a blacksmith or preacher, published a newspaper at Cave-in Rock. His motto was, "The pen is mightier than the sword." He wrote a biography of a local character, entitling the book Logan Belt, the Outlaw of Southern Illinois. It was this Shadrach Jackson, according to tradition, who became the principal character for Alice Hagen Rice's Mr. Opp. Mr. Kerr, banker at Cave-in Rock, has a letter from Mrs. Rice to substantiate this fact. Perhaps the most appalling account of crime in all of the Middle West is that of the harps. The worst tales about the harps, some of which are not documented, do not in the least bit exceed in depravity those fully documented. The horrors and brutality of their crimes are almost beyond comprehension. The Cincinnati Literary Gazette, at an early date, commented upon the accounts of some of the crimes charged against the harps and related by Judge James Hall. The Gazette refused to publish them, saying they were too horrid to be true. This same paper later printed a retraction and agreed that even the most horrible portions of the stories related were true. Micaiah or Big Harp and Wiley or Little Harp, brothers, were native of North Carolina. Their father was a Tory, once loyal to the British during the Revolutionary War. This brought upon the family the definite dislike of their neighbors, and it is suggested as a principal cause that turned the brothers to a career of crime. Just how is not explained. Big Harp, in his later years, explaining his career of crime, is supposed to have said that it was because he was treated so badly. They also believed in predestination, and this belief is somehow thought to have influenced them. Again, just how is not explained. A later story will take up the career of these brothers and their association with the crime wave at Cave in Rock. So that's the end of that part. We will have to come back and find the later story and see what it has to say. Hey, Butterbean, how you doing, sweetie? King of Coins. Don't beat yourself up over a little sickness. Live your life not thinking about what you're going to miss, but instead of what you got to be a part of. I wish this was a little sickness, but it's turning out to be a big sickness. However, I'm not ready to throw in the towel quite yet. So I just keep going with what I'm doing. I know yesterday they ordered for me a walker with a seat. Now, these people don't know me very well because I'm gonna figure out how to turn that walker with a seat into a metal detecting buggy so I can still walk and I can still detect. so y'all gonna see some strange creations happen here pretty soon. I have not been metal detecting since April 11th, and it's driving me nuts. Now, on to the other part. I don't know what I'm doing here. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. I'm running out of time on getting the money together for the motorhome. And I need 6,000 and I have like 3,600. So I've been too sick to do my auctions. I did one the other night. Um, I am going to make every effort to come on tonight and do another auction. Tonight's auction will be partly coin related and partly handcrafted jewelry related. Um, and whatever else happens to be lying on my desk that I decide is not going to fit in the motorhome. And the purpose of the motorhome is that I cannot get good medical care where I am. I am way out in the Blue Ridge Mountains. The specialists that I need simply are not out here, and they're not out here because there's no money to be made for them. So I truly need to go back where I was before all of this mess started, which is Michigan. University of Michigan does a lot of work with people who have autoimmune disorders, and I have developed yet another one. And the problem with this one is it's it's just a rough one. It's not, there's no cure. So I need to get over there. I need to get back into their programs, uh, where hopefully they can slow down or stop what is going on in my body right now. So I really have to get this motorhome situation locked down within the next couple weeks. And uh, so it does not matter how crappy I feel, I'm going to have to sit here and do these excuse me, uh, auctions. So I made the mistake of trying to go do a live market Sunday to help my sister out because she runs the market, and I ended up falling down and hurting myself. So that's the end of that. I'm going to have to do it all online now. As far as my handcrafted jewelry, if you need somebody to give you a recommendation or information about the quality of what I do, Sir Benji Sir Benji has bought a ton of jewelry from me. He has a lot of females in his family, and not everything in the jewelry is for females, but he does have a lot of ladies in his family, and he will be happy to give you a testimonial on how my jewelry goes. My jewelry line is not expensive. I do a lot of stuff with uh like all the earrings have either surgical steel or sterling silver wires. I don't go crazy with the prices because people just can't afford it right now. But I do pick good quality components, and my design aesthetic is unusual. So I'm going to try this afternoon around 4 o'clock to just log on with a combination of an auction and a buy it now, and just go until my body says, okay, Sue, you're done for a while, and just try to sell. I basically have to sell everything I own because I can't take everything in a 31-foot motorhome. But that's okay. If that's what it costs for me to stay alive, then it's well worth it for me. I will not be selling my broadcasting equipment, so there will still be an It's Susie Q96. There will still be a Rootbound Genealogy. There still will be all of the channels that I have. If you are interested in making a donation to the GoFundMe, I just posted the list. Those who purchased items at the auction the night before last, I am going to wait until I do tonight's auction before I send those out, in case I have some of the same people, because it will save some folks some postage. So that's how I'm gonna do it. So let's look at about 4 o'clock this afternoon. I will come on and turn some crazy things loose. I mean, I have so many different categories of stuff. I have currency still. I have handmade jewelry. I have some commercial jewelry. I have a whole smack load of arts and crafts items that I'm just not going to be able to use. Basically, if I can replace it later, I'm going to sell it. If it's something special that I can't replace, obviously, I'm not going to. So that's about all I got for you this morning. My alarm is going off over here for something, and so it must be time for me to take a medicine or go kick somebody's ass or do something. So I thank you for stopping in. I hope you enjoyed the story about Cave and Rock. I wish I had known. I'd have been out there looking around those caves for those 50-cent, the 50-cent dies. Who knows? There could still be some out there. If I was in the area, I might have to have the metal detector and get out there and take a look. So I'll see y'all later on today. Please let folks know my channel is not dead. I have had people going around saying that I don't do shows anymore, and that's not true. I do shows when my body lets me do shows. So I'm gonna, have to put a stop to that rumor. And the things that I have are not for everybody's taste, but unless you come over and look, you do not know. So I'll see y'all later on today. Y'all be safe. Have a good and blessed day. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.